by themselves. It's up to you if you can take, because you have got, schools are big, you have got your own teaching, non-teaching staff, and there are any number of students. So one panwala, if he is selling and then you ask him to stop and he is trying to create a ruckus, it doesn't take much time to control him and then hand over him to police. But still, option is left to you. If you think enforcement, you should not step in because it will invite unnecessary problems. This forum, you can inform the forum. We'll do the rest of the job. We'll not even tell who has informed. We'll not even tell where from this information came. So we'll quietly raid and close the shop and then arrest the people concerned. The rest all, of course, is more academic than next slide. So various stakeholders that involved in making our society drug free. And one more thing I want to talk about is the curriculum, which of course our chief guest, Sri B. Venkatesham, the Principal Secretary, Education Department, Education, he will, I think, detail more, and also the Commissioner Education, Srimati Devasena. So the Telangana government and the Principal Secretary and Commissioner, they are very keen to ensure that a curriculum is in place in all schools to educate people about this drug menace, and to educate not only the students but also the teachers, the parents about the dangers of drug abuse, about the behavioral changes that these drugs would cause, and about the alleviative steps that we are supposed to take. And of course also telling the students about resisting from drugs, how it harms the individuals, how it harms the families, how it harms the society, how it harms the nation, and how it harms the entire global community, how bad it is to take into this, to fall into the trap of drug abuse, and how to come out of it, even if it need be, where there is a need for rehabilitation and de-addiction. So what to be done? So these things all put together, about 20 sessions in a year, in an academic year. So we would request all the schools to adopt it. A draft has been made, a well prepared draft. It will be circulated to all of you, soft copies, and you can suggest any necessary changes in that. 20 sessions in a year, in an academic year of about, I think, 34 weeks, and 20 sessions. So maybe every 2 weeks or 1.5 week a session. It will go a long way in educating our students, their parents, and ourselves about the dangers of this drug, so that people don't easily fall prey because of the peer pressure, because of the curiosity they have, and because of basically, yeah. So because of the fashion or the fad that is there for drugs. This is what I wanted to say from this forum. I once again thank all of you for coming in big number. So from here, we must take practical steps and very, very long-lasting steps to implement these things, to put all these things that have been discussed in place, so that we, in the coming years, we make our city, our state, Telangana state, a drug-free state. The danger is, if you neglect, it is so pervasive and it is so fast, it's like wildfire. It can encompass all of us in no time. So, better late than never. I think it is already a little late, but better late than never. Let's start these things. And before ending my speech here, I thank all the dignitaries who are present on the dais. Today we have, so after me, I am the presiding officer for this function. So, and then I made this introductory remarks. But today you have to listen to the people, the distinguished guests who are present on the dais. Our chief guest, Sri Burra Venkatesham Garu, IAS, the Principal Secretary Education, and our Chief of the Telangana State Anti-Narcotics Bureau, Sri Sandeep Sandile Garu, the Director General of Police, and of course the representatives from police, my colleague, dear colleague from Hyderabad, Avinash Mohanty, dear colleague from Rajkonda, CP Rajkonda, Tarun Joshi, my additional CP Law and Order Vikram, and of course the SAC. Towards the end, I should not forget the pain and the effort that the Hyderabad City Security Council has taken to organize this event, to make it success. They're very conscientious people. We are lucky to have their support. We are lucky to partner with them. So together now, when we also now partner with you in this most important campaign against drugs, and together we'll make our Telangana state and Hyderabad and surroundings drug-free. Thank you so much. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir, for the detailed explanation, and thank you for enlightening all of us here. Indeed, we all look forward to a drugs-free Hyderabad. I now request our special guest, Sri Avinash Mohanty, IPS, Commissioner of Police, Hyderabad, to please talk to all of us.
Good morning, everybody. My seniors and colleagues on the dais, Venkatesham sir, Sandeep sir, Sreenivasa Reddy sir, Vikram sir, Mr. Tarun Joshi, Dev Sena garu, my friends from HCSC, Chaitanya garu, Barni garu, Shrikant garu, dear principals, teachers and administrators from different schools, and colleagues from the department. It's an honor to be here today, though it's a Sunday. I'm sure, in this beautiful hall, 30 years from now, there'll be another set of people sitting here on some Sunday and discussing something. We only wish that this is not the topic they're discussing. So, vices have been part of human civilization since I think man has ever existed, and it will continue to be there. But among the vices, this vice is dangerous not only to the society, it's dangerous to the person, it's dangerous to the future of human existence, because there is nothing that has destroyed human society in the past as much as drugs has, and it's continuing to do so. We can talk endlessly on what damage drugs do to the society, what damage drugs cause to the human being. There's no debating that. The only question is why. The only question is why do people turn to drugs, and that whether we can do anything to address that. You just saw in the presentation that was made that drug seizures are increasing across the globe in different parts. So is it happening in our part of the country as well. Every year, police says that we have seized more drugs than the previous year. While we take great pride in the achievements that we are seizing more drugs than ever before, that also indicates that there is a ever increasing demand for drugs. So that brings us to that question that I asked, why? So we all know people turn to drugs for different kinds of relief. It's a relief from stress, it's a relief from depression, it's a relief from failure, or it could also be a kind of cause to celebrate something. These whys can only be, not the vices, the whys can only be addressed in the peer groups, the family, the school, the friend circle, and where all these peer groups overlap is the school. The school is a place where parents, teachers, friends all come together. And this is the best place to address the why. Whenever somebody feels a need to go to some kind of substance abuse, I think before he does that, he gives out some indication that he is in some kind of either sorrow or exhilaration, and is looking to go elsewhere to find relief for that. And that's where the schools and the parents together can come in. Another reason why people turn to drugs is because they're available and their peer group consumes it, and so they are forced to consume it to be part of that group. And that's again a reason where the schools come in, and that's where you have a major role to play. So the ways to do that, just before me, CP Hyderabad has explained some of the formats and some of the protocols and how we intend to go about putting in place a system where some systemic exercise can be carried out at regular intervals to address these concerns. We all need to work towards that, and we all know the damage that this causes to certainty. The certainty of the damage that it causes. We all are aware, we all want to get rid of it. But what happens is we are so occupied in so many of our requirements of daily life, our work and personal pressures, that we sometimes on the way forget the importance of this issue. So what these steps, these protocols will do is to keep a periodical kind of engagements where we come back to this topic at regular intervals and revisit the issues that are happening. So we look forward to your continued support, and you tell us if there is a support from our side. We are more than happy to partner with you. As Srinivas sir said, you must keep a watch on the environment around you, and let us know at the slightest hint that there are avenues around your campus where children especially, have opportunities to get access to such kind of substances, and we will come down on it with all our might. So we are looking forward to all the information coming from you, all your concerns from which need to be addressed from our side. We will take care of that, and I hope after today we put in place these mechanisms and work towards systematically addressing this concern. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much, sir. Request you to please remain on stage as I now request Shri Shrikant, Joint Secretary, Anti-Narcotics Forum, ACAC, to please present a memento to Shri Avinash Mohanty. I request you, sir, to please step forward. Yes, thank you so much, sir, for talking to us and sharing valuable inputs with us here today. I now request our guest of honor, Shri Sandeep Shandalia, IPS, Director, Telangana State, to kindly address the gathering.
Respected, esteemed and distinguished guests on the stage, Mr. Kothakota Sreenivasa Reddy, CP Hyderabad, then Avinashi is just left, Mr. Tarun Joshi, and Mr. Maan, and our chief guest for today's function, Mr. Burra Venkatesham Garu, then Director School Education, Sri Devana Madam, and esteemed members from SCSC, Mr. Chaitanya, Mr. Srikant, and Mr. Bharani, and esteemed, distinguished, and guests who are off the stage. So this is a very good opportunity that Mr. Sreenivasa Reddy and Hyderabad Security Council has provided to me. So I was thinking about this lecture and what should I talk to you about drugs and what all. So I thought that I was talking to my wife that how should I start and how should I break ice with the audience. What she told me is one, every creation of God is a masterpiece. Every creation. So she gave me this tagline and I could write whatever I want to connect with you or tell you. Okay, Mr. Sreenivasa Reddy has told you and all of us have seen what is the quantum of that problem we have in the society. Okay, so every creation is a masterpiece. Okay, you say this flower, dahlia or chrysanthemum or rose flower, it's a masterpiece. People go and see to Louvre Museum in Paris that they go and see a sculpture. They don't see their own children. The teachers don't see their own students. And they go to Paris to watch a sculpture. The creation of God they're not seeing. Every creation of God is unique. Every creation. You have unique fingerprints. You have unique flowers. Everything has a beauty. Now, once you don't realize this thing, that every creation is a masterpiece, every creation is unique, that is where the problem starts coming. Okay, now I put it, all of you must be parents, you must be teachers, principals of this thing. Then sometimes what the parent says, कि गुप्ता जी का लड़का इंजीनियर बन गया, शर्मा जी का लड़का या शर्मा जी की लड़की डॉक्टर बन गई. Then now the children will say कि पापा आप गुप्ता जी नहीं हो, आप शर्मा जी नहीं हो, आप शांडिलिया जी हो. Then teachers start comparing. Then there is peer pressure on the kid. Okay. Then there is lack of love. Father, mother working, single parent, they give him money. For that love, they are compensating with money. Peer pressure. He is becoming this, he is becoming that. You know, Sant Kabir was a saint. He said one thing, कि मीठा सबसे बोलिए, सुख उपजे चारों ओर. वशीकरण ये मंत्र है, तजिए वचन कठोर. Then there is a parent-teacher meeting. क्या बोलेंगे? आपका बच्चा वो A+ आया, B+ आया, C+ आया, D+ आया. हाँ, he will spoil our school result in the 10th board, inter first year, inter second year. That is how they pressurize the child. That is how he looks. अबे हम हैं पुलिस वाले. In 3 months I am laying down office. In 3 months I am laying down office. I look for love. I look for recognition. I look for importance. अब क्या हम बुढ़े हो गए, रिटायर होने वाले हैं, हम ये चीजें देख रहे हैं और बच्चे का नहीं, आप समझते कि वो भी देख रहा होगा. यू अंडरस्टैंड यार, अगर ABCDEF ये ग्रेड में दुनिया नहीं खत्म हो गई. द प्रपंचम इज अ सॉन्ग एंड सॉन्ग नीड्स ऑल द अल्फाबेट फ्रॉम A to Z. It doesn't finish at A+, B+, C+, D+. It doesn't finish there. The other क्या प्रॉब्लम है? You have this world school, that world school, this world school. अरे स्कूल है भाई, खेलने का फैसिलिटी है, बच्चे को दिन भर वो फोन देख रहा है, वो पूरा डोपामीन और मेलाटोनिन और सेरोटोनिन, whatever the chemicals are received in the mind, you are seeing this, that is his entertainment. घर में कोई नहीं है, 4 बजे स्कूल पढ़ के जा रहा है. अब आप पूछेंगे किसका रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है? बच्चा बिगड़ रहा है, बच्चा ड्रग्स ले रहा है, बच्चा एस्ट्रे जा रहा है, ही इज डूइंग ड्रग एब्यूज. किसका रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है? पेरेंट का, टीचर का, बच्चे का? किसका रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है? पुलिस का. अब हम सब, मैं बोलता हूं मैं पुलिस हूं, मैं बोलता हूं कि सब बोलेंगे बच्चे, स्कूल वाले बच्चे भी कभी कभी शराब पी रहे हैं, स्कूल वाले बच्चे भी ड्रग कर रहे हैं, स्कूल वाले बच्चे भी स्मोकिंग कर रहे हैं, ठीक है, कर रहे हैं ना, मैं पुलिस वाला बोल रहा हूं ना। आप मेरे से पूछो, भाई तुम पुलिस वाला है, तुमने कितने पान वालों को पकड़ा जो बच्चों को सिगरेट बेच रहे हैं? टेल। दिस इज व्हाट आई से इज, यू टॉक but you don't act. Ask me, I am responsible. I tell you, no, we have not booked any case. इतना अगर मैं पान का दुकान वाला हूं, एक बच्चे को सिगरेट बेच रहा हूं, the punishment under 77 of Juvenile Justice Act is 7 years. अब बोलो आप कितने पान वालों को आपने पकड़ा जो सिगरेट बेच रहा है? कितने पान वालों को पकड़ा जो गांजा चॉकलेट बेच रहा है बच्चों को? You know this is lip sympathy. लिख देगा, liquor will not be sold to people under 21 years of age. All bars, restaurant write this. And such behavior will be reported. This is that concern they have to the society. लिखा है, पर नहीं पी सकते आप. It will be reported. सरे भाई आपने लिख दिया. How many people have you reported? How many people have you caught? None. काम खत्म. This they wash off their hands of the entire problem. Okay, then अब बच्चे को अब धीरे धीरे ना, I do my first, second, third, fourth, then my high school, then inter first, then second, then this college. Like this problem is also एक साथ में शुरू नहीं हुई. Tomorrow my son starts smoking or start doing drug. It's not that. It is a slow process. It is a slow process. और आपको 50 सिग्नल्स मिलेंगे, टेलटेल साइंस मिलेंगे कि आपका बच्चा एस्ट्रे जा रहा है. योर चाइल्ड इज गोइंग एस्ट्रे. ही इज स्ट्रेसफुल. ही इज नॉट एबल टू कोप अप विद द सिचुएशन. ही इज बिकमिंग इमोशनली इनस्टेबल. ही इज बिकमिंग एग्रेसिव. ही इज गोइंग इनटू हिज शेल. आपको मिलेंगे साइंस, देखो. And there is policemen or anti-drug committee. You please tell. We are not going to stigmatize the child कि भाई आप इसको कर को जेल भेज दो, इसको ये भेज दो, like we do for the film producers और होटल में जो ड्रग्स ले रहे हैं उनके ऊपर. We are not going to stigmatize the child or this thing. We will try to find out the person who is selling. उसको पकड़ के जेल भेजेंगे. ऐसा रहना. You must understand. माँ नहीं समझेगी, टीचर नहीं समझेगा, तो कौन समझेगा? यू अंडरस्टैंड दैट ही इज नॉट एबल टू कोप अप. आप क्यों उससे ग्रेड पूछे जा रहे हैं? यू आस्क हिम, यू एनकरेज हिम कि भैया आपका ये फील्ड अच्छा, आप गाना अच्छा गाते हैं, आप स्पोर्ट्स अच्छा खेलते हैं, आप ये खेलते हैं. नो, व्हाट इज देयर इन स्कूल्स? ग्रेड. भाई आईटी में रैंक निकालो, इसमें रैंक निकालो, उसमें रैंक निकालो. यही, दिस इज लाइफ. इज दिस लाइफ? दैट प्रोड्यूसर और दैट होटल ओनर, द बिग, यू कॉल देम सक्सेसफुल पीपल. They are doing drugs. If your child becomes a good human being, अच्छा इंसान बन जाए, उससे ज्यादा कुछ नहीं चाहिए. Absolutely nothing else is needed. And there are some tests, which is this. अब ट्रेंड है क्या कि पहले क्या होता था, पैंट फट जाएगी ना तो अपनी मम्मी को कहेंगे कि वो दर्जी से उसको रफू करा लो, वो फटी हुई पैंट नहीं डालना. फिर रफू भी देखेंगे कि दूर से दिखता है कि नहीं फट गई थी, नहीं. ठीक है, ट्रेंड है सोसाइटी में. अब ट्रेंड क्या है कि फटी हुई जीन डालना. वो कम फटी हुई है तो काट के इधर कर लेना, अब यहाँ पर पीछे भी काट लेना. लाइक दिस. नाउ दिस इज द ट्रेंड. व्हाई डोंट वी स्टार्ट अ ट्रेंड दैट पीपल हु आर सक्सेसफुल इन लाइफ, हु आर मेकिंग मनी, एंड दे आर डूइंग ड्रग्स एंड स्पॉइलिंग द होल सोसाइटी, व्हाई शुड वी नॉट शन देम? इफ यू आर अ होटल ओनर and you know that people are coming and doing drugs in that, shun that hotel. If you are a producer, you are a film actor, you are a singer, shun that person. Set that trend कि कोई भी हम गलत चीज को, we are not going to tolerate that. Stop discouraging your child. Stop pampering him. Start loving him. Start spending time with him. And if the parent is like this, the class teacher or the principal knows कि he is a single child, a single parent child. उस टीचर को मालूम रहना, then he needs, कोई अच्छा आदमी है तो उसको थोड़ा टाइम देना.
यू गिव हिम अ पैट, उसको मार्क्स 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 ऐसे नहीं पूछना. चाइल्ड यू आर कैपेबल, चाइल्ड यू आर एबल टू डू दिस थिंग, एनकरेज हिम, तब ऊपर उठेगा. देन when he is able to take this emotional stress, then he will not go into drugs. Some people say that drugs is a matter of supply and demand, so police should control the supply so that demand will not be there. It is not there. आप देखें यार, एक child, everybody will agree कि बचपन में तो he is innocent. 5 साल जब स्कूल में गया तभी भी innocent है. या 8-10 साल में, 18 साल में, 17 साल में, when he is a teenager, why does he take to drugs? Why does he take to drugs? Because he is unhappy. He is unhappy with your comparisons. He is unhappy with your peer pressure. He is unhappy the teachers, parents are not giving him due recognition. आपको बोला हम चाहते हैं यार, हम कितना 3 महीना और 4 महीने मेरी ड्यूटी है. मैं चाहता हूं यार, पीपल शुड लव मी, माई वाइफ शुड लव मी, माई चिल्ड्रन शुड लव मी, माई ऑफिसर शुड लव मी. तो बच्चा क्यों नहीं चाहेगा? ही स्टार्ट फीलिंग अनसेफ and lack of love, lack of recognition. That is how he slowly, that some people get together in the class or attend a birthday party and slowly start finding refuge in drugs. Okay, so this is one thing is there. So then some schools are there. अब आप क्या बोले, ड्रग्स कर रहा है, वो कर दिया, सोसाइटी बिगड़ गया, ये बढ़ गया. उससे ज्यादा है एक बचपन का गुमना. A childhood is lost. एक चाइल्ड करके आप पूरे होल थिंग सोसाइटी. अबे एक बच्चा जो कुछ भी नहीं बनता तो चलो ठीक है, कुछ अच्छा इंसान बनता. लूजिंग चाइल्डहुड, उसकी हंसी चली गई. ऐसा रह गया कि बच्चा वो हंसता रहता है ऐसा. हाँ, अभी वन ऑफ द प्रेजेंटेशन मिस्टर श्रीनिवास शोइंग, बट चाइल्ड वाज लाफिंग. दिनों दिन निकल जाएंगे कि वो बच्चे के चेहरे पे मुस्कान नहीं दिखेगी. कांट द टीचर नोटिस? वोंट द पेरेंट्स नोटिस? ऐसा कुछ नहीं है, किसी के ऊपर डाल दो. यू आस्क मी, यू डू योर ड्यूटी. जो भी पान वाला पिचा बेच रहा है पकड़ो उसे, ठीक है, मेरे को बोलो क्यों, मेरे को पकड़ना है. लेट एवरीबडी डू हिज ड्यूटी विद लव, विद अफेक्शन, with encouragement, with positive attitude, and set up trends कि जो भी आदमी with his own ability he copes up with the stress, वैसा आदमी, वैसा बच्चा अच्छा है हमारे को. ओके, सो देन अनदर दिस थिंग इज कि अभी स्ट्रेसफुल सिचुएशन है. सो वर्ल्ड में जो अभी जो अमेरिका में हो रहा है वो हमारे इंडिया में 10, 15, 20 साल के बाद शुरू हो जाएगा. और मे बी इट हैज ऑलरेडी स्टार्टेड इन दिस. You have e-cigarettes, you have vapes, you have cigarettes, all those things are there. Then school bag checking, then you get this. So many things are there, okay? And everybody, don't put your child in a rat race. कि CGPA कितना है, यहाँ आ गए, वो आ गए. Just give him time to relax. ये जरूरी नहीं है. Life is a big race. कोई शुरू में तेज भाग रहा है, कोई धीरे धीरे भागे जा रहा है, पर भागता रह रहा है आराम से स्पीड में. आफ्टर सम टाइम, अब तुम देखो ये लड़के जो भी बच्चे हमको रहे हैं, उसके पास पैसा है, उसके पास रिकॉग्निशन है, उसके पास सब है. ही इज डूइंग ड्रग्स. यू प्रोड्यूसर ऑफ फिल्म्स और सम इंपॉर्टेंट मॉडल और सम होटल ओनर, दे आर डूइंग ड्रग्स. शेम, आई टेल यू, इट्स शेम. दे डू दिस थिंग. यू टेल, अरे वो इतना बड़ा बन के, इतना सब कुछ बन के, दे आर डूइंग ड्रग्स. क्या फायदा भैया उनका? क्या सोसाइटी को फायदा है? दे आर सेटिंग द रॉन्ग एग्जाम्पल फॉर द सोसाइटी. हाँ, और उसका हम पिक्चर देखने जाएंगे. क्यों देखने जाएंगे भाई? उसके होटल को क्यों जाएंगे हम? सेट दैट ट्रेंड. वी डोंट टॉलरेट दिस काइंड ऑफ अ बिहेवियर विच इज स्पॉइलिंग अस किड्स, स्टीलिंग देयर चाइल्डहुड्स, मेकिंग देम अनहैप्पी, मेकिंग देम फीलिंग अनसेफ. ओके, तो रैट रेस में भी नहीं जाना. देन ओपन, देन यू अब जैसे अभी वेंकटेशम साहब आए हैं, सो नाउ आई स्टे इन अंबरपेट. कोई ग्राउंड ही नहीं है यार बच्चे को. यू स्टे इन अ वाइट फील्ड अपार्टमेंट में रहता है, वो कुछ एक वो नहीं है कि 2 मिनट जाके मैं बैटिंग कर लूं, सब उसका गलती नहीं है. इट्स नॉट चाइल्ड फॉल्ट अगेन, इट्स नॉट. So there are some tests. I kept on doing this thing the last 2 months I am there. There is Minnesota multiple personality test. अगर child cope नहीं कर रहा, he is in a stress, he is under some anxiety, some distress. तो इसको पहले signatures में you big schools are there, they can employ good psychiatrists or psychologists, and then they can find out that this child really needs some help. तो drugs आने से पहले ही, so Wellbeing is half done, a stitch in time saves 9, like that. आप पहले ही उसको थोड़ा वैसे निकाल लें. Then there is Rorschach ink blot test also. These are some of the tests. So now some things are there. Now, and I was there 2 months back. No, I met Mr. Rama Devi. She is the director of emerging technologies in TSTS. So my madam मेरे पास आई and Mr. Jayesh Ranjan ने तो जयेश रंजन ने उसको बोला कि आप कुछ AI का टूल. सो वी ट्राइड टू डेवलप अ टूल वेयर इन अ पेरेंट इन तेलुगु, ही कैन also by answering questions regarding his child, he can really tell whether this child has gone into drug abuse. That is emotional, जो भी कंट्रोल था या वैसा उससे आगे निकल गई है बात, and he is into drug abuse or substance abuse. So then they have got together and they have developed some program wherein they can really do this thing. And अभी ऐसा उनका assist program है, alcohol, smoking, substance involvement, screening test and all. So then maybe it is in the process of development. So they will make a small presentation, and I thank Mr. Sreenivasa Reddy and Hyderabad Security Council for having given me this opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, our guest of honor, Sri Sandeep Shandilya. Thank you so much for beautifully explaining, and you also made everyone be on a lighter note. Yes, I would request Shri Bharani Kumar, a role advisor, HCSE, to please present a memento to our guest of honor, Shri Sandeep Shandilya, IPS Director, Telangana State. We have with us Srimati Rama Devi Lanka, Director, Emerging Technologies, IT, E and C Department, and Shri Saurabh Banerjee, Founder and CTO, United We Care. So let's have a presentation on AI, which, yes, our guest of honor was just talking about.
Hello, yes. Respected senior officials on the dais and HSC members and representatives from different schools, a very good morning to all of you. After Sandeep sir's, very passionate, spirited talk, I said, whatever we say may look, something very rundown. Well, as sir has mentioned, as part of emerging technologies, we actually reach out to departments to help them. Yes, hello, yeah. As part of our role, in emerging technologies, IT and C department, we reach out to various departments to explain them how different technologies such as AI, artificial intelligence, blockchain, cloud, robotics, drones, you name it, all the industry 4.0 technologies. So how do we use these technologies to solve problems, social problems specifically, It could be related to agriculture, education department, or health department, or even police department. We proactively reach out to different departments to showcase, how technologies can help them. So that's how we reached out to Sandeep sir with some solution. But he said, "Nahin, mere ko ye sab kuch nahi chahiye. Can you give us a tool, telltale tool, which helps parents or teachers to assess, the students, whether a student is consuming drugs at an early stage, so that you can catch them, do something about it." So we actually, thought about it, how do we, develop this, and we ran a sort of, we finalize the scope in discussion with the department. What is that we need to do? What are the questions that we need to administer? And we had discussions with clinical psychologists, psychiatrists, and to do this, we actually initially sort of selected 10 startups from across India who are working, developing solutions in mental health area. We shortlisted 3 of them and demonstrated to the department, and Sandeep sir and his team actually shortlisted one startup, United We Care. They have an end-to-end solution. But in that, what we are presenting today is, a very simple chatbot solution where a teacher or a parent, mostly it's for parents, they can access that, chatbot app. There are 13 questions administered for the students where the parents can fill. Is your child, as Sandeep sir was mentioning, and the CP sir was also mentioning about, is your child, moody or not mingling with friends? There are certain questions that as a parent you would understand, or even as a teacher. But these questions, because we have discussed with clinical psychologists and psychiatrists, they said these will have to be administered by parent, because parent knows their child, what is his appetite, how is his behavior, his behavioral patterns. So 13 questions are actually, multiplied into 3 dimensions, which Saurabh will explain. In essence, it's 39 questions that you need to enter, which gives a sort of score for you to see if actually exceeds beyond a threshold level, your child is consuming drugs. Then your data is protected, and the solution actually adopts DPDP Act, which is released by Government of India, which encrypts the child's data, because the data that we're collecting about a child is very sensitive. We understand the vulnerabilities associated with it, and the highly encrypted, nobody will have access to the child's data. It's only the parent you can see the score, and if that score is beyond a threshold level, contact the police departments, like psychiatrists, those addresses, those details are displayed. You can reach out to them on your own, or you can reach out to the police department officials for help. So again, I'm saying this is not for identifying any child as such, just to help the parents assess the children at an early stage, before they get addicted to drugs. Even after getting addicted also, if you're not sure, you can use this tool. It's for teenagers for 13 to 19. These questions are specifically designed for teenagers and not for children below, 13 years. So now Saurabh will actually present that solution. First, initially, a workshop will be given to teachers to make them understand what the tool is, how it can be, administered. Then the teachers will have to share it with the parents, to administer that tool. Finally, the score will be given to the parents. So I hand it over, and I thank the department for giving us this opportunity to actually, prepare this kind of tool. And one thing I would like to mention before I hand it over to Saurabh, our country, like the kind of scale, size we have, any solution that we develop here, and specifically in Telangana, once it becomes successful, it can be rolled out across this state, the country, India, and to the world. Because nowadays, every big tech company is coming to India, to develop solutions here. So I hope this solution that we are, showing it today will help you, and not just for the Telangana state, but for the entire world. Thank you, and thank you, sir, for giving this opportunity. Thank you.
Hello, thank you. Thank you, distinguished panelists, ladies and gentlemen. Namaste. I'm the founder and CTO of United We Care, and the solution is by us. We are a Hyderabad-based startup, and Adayu, a Fortis group of company. So the clinical part is being handled by Dr. Samir Parikh. He's one of the best psychiatrists in India. So we have done the holistic solution on mental health. In terms of addiction, it's a very complex issue. A lot of prolonged journey happens on the addiction part from the child's end. At times we find problems or psychological issues in the family. The parents, they go through a lot of mental health issues. As a result, the child is getting into addiction. So it requires a extremely complex, involvement by the parents. Can we go to the next slide? So it has 4 major dimensions. First is identification if there is a possibility of the addiction, which is, the initial state. And this is where we, make a mistake. So one or twice usage, one recreational usage of one banned substance gradually becomes an addiction. So first we have to work a lot on the preventive side, so the parents, they understand what are the early signs and symptoms of their children, boys and girls, possibly on the borderline of getting into addiction. The second part is addiction requires clinical management and clinical intervention, and at that time, a lot of times they are fairly expensive. Third one is self-intervention. A lot of cases we want to really work with the parents, train them on how to handle situation in addiction. The fourth one is the follow-up and relapse management. What we are talking right now is, the identification of addiction. But the data is hopeless in terms of addiction when it comes to relapse. 92, 93% cases, even with the best of the intents, they get relapsed. How do we handle the whole four circle through AI and clinical services put together? Why do we use AI? Do we use AI for any clinical services? No. There are a lot of subclinical stuff that needs to be happening before the clinical stuff happens. So that's why AI is extremely important, because AI can reach to every individual on their preferred language and their preferred choices. And even if they have complex questions, even if they do not have any real human being to help them immediately, the first aid can be handled by AI. Can we go to the next slide? So here, as we are talking about, it takes a whole village to bring up a child. So the first intervention that we wanted to propose was a teacher awareness program, how to have early detection of possibilities in the school. Then the teacher can engage with the parents, and we are not cherry picking with all the parents. It's not about one set of parents and not the other set of parents. We want to have every parent being engaged. We do not know who is going to be addicted, and the chances and probabilities almost uniformly distributed. Let's go to the next slide. Yeah, so what we are proposing is a 39 questionnaire. I know it's slightly long, but trust me, we are talking about real human lives, real emotion, real addiction. Let's spend that 39 question. It will take no more than 5 minutes. Let's do it once, twice a month, or at least once in 2 months for our own kids. It's very easy. It is developed by Dr. Parikh and team. It has 13 domains that we assess that child for. Now, child directly cannot assess themselves. It's not contrary to the law. So we want the parents to do the whole thing for them. So emotional changes. Is there any visible emotional changes? Is there any visible cognitive changes? Is there any psychomotor changes? The physical symptoms of that. Absenteeism. Drastic changes in the preferences, sports, scores in the school. A lot of things we just ignore. Can we create an environment wherein we identify those minor issues at home, so that the police can do their job of handling the major things? But if we do the minor things, trust me, a lot of things will never become major. Can we go to the next slide? So here we have the app demo. I'll not take, can we go to the demo? Yeah. Yeah, so I'll give you a quick 2 minutes demo of the whole thing. It's very easy. After, yes. It's a 2 minutes video, and this is what that you need 2 minutes. Made the video in English, however, we are also present in Telugu, Hindi, whichever is your preferred language. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. That was indeed very informative. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I would request our special guest, Dr. Tarun Joshi, IPS Commissioner of Police, Rachakonda, to address the gathering.
Respected Venkatesham sir, respected Director TS NAB, Shri Sandeep Chandeliya sir, respected CP Hyderabad, Shri Sreenivasa Reddy sir, Man sir, Dev Sena madam, all the members of Hyderabad City Security Council, Bharni ji, Chaitanya ji and Shrikant ji and all the other members, all the officers of Hyderabad City Police, the media members and all the representatives of the respective schools. I think the teachers and some correspondents, some managers, probably some principals are also present. So good afternoon to everybody. Good afternoon. Thank you. So first of all, I would thank CP Hyderabad for being very thoughtful of conducting this program, which is really the need of the hour, sir, generating awareness regarding the drugs. Because, this is one thing that has been really bothering us. Being in the police department, so we have really been very, very concerned about it. And then I would also thank all the school representatives, coming in such large number. The response has been really overwhelming. We had a very short notice to inform some of the schools, so but I see that while I was coming, I saw many of the members sitting outside also. There's a house full on the top also I was seeing. So thank you for coming here on a Sunday. For this program, and even though the school examinations are going on, so I think it must have been a special effort from your side. Now, talking about the issue, already the speakers before me have touched upon the issue in a very comprehensive way. Few things from my side which I would want to mention. I have a daughter who's a teenager. She's about 16-year-old, and she's also undergoing the 11th class exams now. And when I think about this issue, because being in the police department, having so much interface with the public, we get people from all walks of life, from all sections of the society, and coming across this particular problem again and again, I feel this really concerns us, concerns me in particular, I feel, because this is something that bothers me, this is something that I feel that I am really, this is something that I should be concerned about. And I also believe that since all of you have come here today, I believe that at some level, you also believe, I'm sure all of you have your children. Some of them might be in that age group. Some of them might have been grown up also. But being members of the society at large and being members of, education system, this is something that should bother all of us. So coming here today, for this program, that itself shows that you acknowledge that this is a problem that, that concerns all of us. So for that, that is really thanks to all of you. We are talking about, a generation. It's not that we are talking, when we talk about India, we say India is a very young country. We have all youngsters here, large population, and we also talk about India is growing, India is developing, economic power and everything. But what about our generation for tomorrow, right? So where are we going and what are they doing? Are we really bothered about them? So this particular issue, when we are talking about an entire generation which is getting impacted, which is getting affected negatively, by a menace which is assuming very alarming proportions now. So I'm sure you must have been, reading in the media, you must have been watching movies, your children also do that. Now, we are living in a society where, we talk about information, we talk about knowledge. Everybody is, very, very, very well versed with the technology, including all of us, including our children also. They are even, much, much smarter than us, which is a good thing. The embracing technology for something healthy, it's a good thing. But at the same time, that personal touch, that is missing. Now, we are having schools here. When I see the advertisements for the schools, I have also been visiting many schools for some programs, for their annual functions or different other activities, sometimes simply to interact with the children also. Some schools do invite us, and we try to connect to the students, interact with them. My observation is that generally the schools take a lot of pride saying that, we are very high-tech schools now, we use a lot of technology, we have a lot of good infrastructure, we are having good logistics, we are having the classes which are digital classrooms, all those things, all the schools. When we see the newspaper advertisements, the only thing that they compete about is their academic results. isn't it? We are number one. Even if you see the coaching centers also, I don't want to name any, of course, but we always see the students, some students standing there with number 1, 2 and all. This is what we usually see. But then are we really concerned about the children, at the personal level? Having come from the generation, because now I believe that being too senior in the service also, and so many juniors coming in the, service below, so I feel I'm from the earlier generation now. And having observed, how the society has been evolving over the last couple of decades, my observation is that there has been a lot of change in the parent and the child relationship. The children, the parents nowadays are not much aware of what their children are doing. It may not be true for everybody. I'm just talking about the general trend. But largely, as already the factors mentioned by the previous speakers, but we see that personal touch, otherwise, when we were children, we used to come back. The moment we throw our bags, we would talk to our parents. We will discuss what is happening in the school. We would, discuss the entire, whatever activities we have been doing, we have done. Our children used to be completely aware of who are our friends, what we are doing, where we are going, for what purpose. All that company, we used to happily share with them. They used to listen also. And then by and large, whenever we are going out, where we are going, everything used to be known. Now the children are, they are very tech savvy, though they are all on the social media. So, that kind of friendships that they have, the kind of chat that they do, nobody really knows what they are doing. This has become a very regular phenomenon. I'm sure your children are also using all these smartphones and all. And having little improvement in our, economic status also, we are giving pocket money to our children. So we don't know what exactly children are doing. Now we see day in and day out, we have the cases where children are committing suicides, where children are eloping away from the houses. The parents are not aware. And of course, they are getting, they are getting involved in these kind of incidents, of the drugs. The second thing is, there is also a change in the relationship between the teachers and the students. We with very high regards and respect for the teachers, because we always, saw our teachers, thanks to some technology that we are in touch with many of our teachers now. After many decades, we could connect to them. So we always saw them, as a, very respectable, fatherhood figure. Like we always treated them as our gurus, and the kind of, the naturally, whenever, we used to talk, and they used to, a lot of care used to happen. But in the schools, nowadays, the children, sometimes the children may be in the hostels, or they are staying in the residential schools, or otherwise as day scholars also. But in the school, that peer group is there, children, but teachers, the connect between the teacher and the student, there is a slight communication gap has come. That is what I have been observing. So this particular program, which has been taken up, in fact, in the entire state, we are having an outreach now to all the educational institutions. So this particular program is an attempt to reach out to you, to look up for your support and the cooperation from your side, because this is something which we believe is a shared responsibility. It's not that something I alone will do, but as members of the society, as the custodians of the next generation or children, generally sometimes we say that हाँ ठीक है children बच्चे हैं ना हमको हमारी बात नहीं सुनते हैं ना we don't know the children we have born the children, they have been born out of us, but we don't own up their ideas, we don't own up their belief system, their decisions, we have no control over them. But the fact is, what kind of environment you gave to them, what kind of belief system, they were all born up, the family is the primary agency of socialization, isn't it? Which is the next one? It is the school. After family, it is the school, and we all acknowledge that children, they spend large amount of their time in the schools, socializing with their other students, other kids, and with the teachers, and with, doing different types of activities. And during this entire process, it is not only the academic things that they learn, but it is actually the character building which happens. The entire personality develops out of it. The attitude, what kind of attitude they will have towards life, and whether they will become the respectable, law-abiding, duty-bound citizens. It all depends on what kind of culture, what kind of environment we are giving to them. So to that extent, it is our responsibility. Yes, so we if we give them good values and good culture, obviously, when they become adults, they will be able to judge. You will not be there all the time to look after them, isn't it? So some teachers may say, हमको नहीं पता है. School, sometimes the school will say कि हमको तो पता नहीं है, हमारे पास तो 2 बजे तक होता है. After 2 o'clock, the child is going back home and we don't know what is, we don't know. They are carrying schools, their cell phones in their pockets or in their bags, so we don't know what they are doing, right? But then did we give them enough comfort so that they could express themselves? They could communicate to us regarding any issues, any problems. So that is something that we need to really bother about. So that conscience is required, that awareness is required. You know, we know a lot about drugs. We know all this, what the drugs are. We know what are the ill effects of the drugs. You have seen, I'm sure you have seen that movie Urta Punjab also. And many other movies, so many Hollywood movies also. So we know all those things. But that awareness, you know, that conscience that this subject affects all of us. And there is something that we can do about it and we must do something about it, right? So that is one thing that this program is all about, the awareness, generating the awareness. And as already mentioned, the clubs, the anti-drug societies, the purpose is that, you know, the representatives from the schools or the children, the students themselves, they can come forward, they can become the partners with us to stop this menace, to control this menace. So thank you, sir, for inviting for this program and all the other members of HCSC. And thank you, everybody. I hope we look forward to good cooperation from all of you, and probably in your respective schools, whenever we have an opportunity to visit, we will definitely connect. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much, Dr. Tarun Joshi. I would request Sri Chaitanya Gorapati, Secretary General, HCSE, to please present a memento to Dr. Tarun Joshi. So please step forward, sir. I now request Srimati A. Sridevasena, IAS, Telangana Commissioner and Director of School Education, to kindly address the gathering.
Good afternoon to everyone, and special thanks to everyone seated on the stage here for having organized this wonderful program. This is the first time ever in my 3.5 years of service in this department that we've had this kind of a gathering with this kind of the powers that be to discuss such an important issue. So I think a big hand for this kind of a initiative from both the departments. 12:40 is a bad, no, it's 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock is a bad time to start talking, but then I have to do the little duty that I have towards all of you. Now, I just have a question to ask. I believe all of you here, seated here, who are either principals or HMs or important people in the school, in private schools, to be very powerful. I believe you are all powerful. How many of you believe you are powerful? Kindly raise your hands. How many of you believe you are powerful? I believe I am very powerful. And many on the stage. You see, we are all very, very powerful people, and a big hand to that. Why I'm saying this is, if we are all very powerful people in our own right, I'm sure many of your schools have political equations, you have people from political parties on your boards, and I'm sure you're very well connected, all of you. Now, if that is the case, I'm going to make a very sensational statement now. We are all equally guilty. How many of you believe that we are all guilty? I believe I am guilty. Kindly raise your hands if you do believe you are guilty. You're not. Okay. But I say you are all guilty, including everybody sitting here, because today we have had to sit here on this kind of a topic which should never have been. I, as a mother, want all of you to picturize this. A small child, so beautiful, rosy cheeks, and nice things to say about you. Mommy, I love you. Comes and hugs you. And tries to show those little achievements that he or she has got. How much of happiness does a parent get out of this? Like Sandeep Chandilia sir was saying, love. You have so much love for this kind of a child, and so every little achievement of the child becomes so important to you. Now picture this. This same child who's so beautiful, so wonderful, full of promise, full of capacity, suddenly one day you know that this child is no longer that little innocent child. He or she has been addicted, if not to drugs, if not to alcohol, even if it is smoking. You suddenly see your child smoking in front of you, or you catch your child smoking. I just cannot imagine what the parent must be going through. The parent's heart would sink into the stomach, that you really cannot see a child whom you've raised with your kind of ideals to do that kind of a thing. But it's not the mistake of the child. And imagine if it is drugs, it's even worse, because no matter what you do, how much the child tries, they get so sucked in deep into that muck that they can't come out. And you have to see them suffering, able to do nothing about it, unless we all think today it is going to be our responsibility to see that no child suffers like that, no parent suffers like that. And I'm sure this is a great beginning for this kind of a activity. If we are all going to think that this is not going to touch me as an individual, I'm sorry. That is not the case. If it is not your child who's in US today or in UK today, it might be your grandchild. It may be your favorite nephew. It may be someone you really love. So let us understand that this isn't something in isolation. It is seeping under the carpet to the point where you are sitting, and you are going to be given a big jolt one fine day. So let us understand it's all our responsibility to take this up. Now, one very important point I thought I should also let you know. Many private schools feel that if their name is brought out into the public, or if they report these kind of things, it is either the child who undergoes some trauma or they lose out on their popularity. But I will tell you one thing. In our own government school, I will not mention the name of the school, I will not mention the district also. This same thing happened, that few children were behaving in a very funny manner, and the headmaster happened to notice this. And the headmaster immediately rang up the DO and told him that there seems to be something fishy around here. So the DO, he happened to have a police background, so he talked to the local police and tried to find a way out without giving anybody the kind of trauma or the kind of negative emotions that go with it. So then the local police, they talked to the headmaster and said, now what you need to do is please tell the students that you want to eat that chocolate, because it was found in the bags of these children, that you want to get that because you are interested. Don't try and castigate them in the first instance. So it was a very well-planned thing, and those children, no matter what, were not willing to reveal where they get those chocolates. They were, even under the influence of the chocolates, they were not ready to give the information. So you can understand how deeply entrenched this can get. And then when the headmaster told the children that I want to, please, why don't you tell me? Then one fine day, after 2 weeks of persuasion, so you can understand how well the children can keep the secret of a criminal. After 2 weeks of persuasion, this child said that they get it in some pawn shop, and then there was a raid, and the pawn shop owner was arrested. Some 4-5 big gunny bags full of chocolates were recovered. But by then, a lot of damage was done. And mind you, in this whole instance, neither was the school's name revealed nor were the children's name revealed. And I really thank the police and the education department for having done that kind of a job. So on this stage, I am requesting all of you, in the presence of my senior officers, let us not look at it as a taboo. It is our responsibility, and we have to do this no matter what. That's why I said we are all guilty. If we are not going to be guilty, then we have to do this. Whatever little information comes to you, you have to share it with the police. Whatever little strange behavior that comes to your notice of the children, please talk to the parents. And now we're going to have these anti-drug committees, we're going to have forums to discuss all these things. All the better for us. We have better resources today to be able to do this. And I have one more instance to tell to you. Just recently, I got to know that another school, a government school. So imagine if it is happening in remote areas of government schools in the state. Where are we in Hyderabad, where everything is easily available? Easily available. So I think we've really kind of set the alarm going, and better we work hard towards it. Like Sandeep sir was saying, there's just one very important point that private school managements have to definitely look at, and that is how your teachers behave with your students. I know as a mother, in a very big, very important, very well-known private school, that my children did suffer in the hands of their teachers, despite me being an IAS officer. They were treated callously for things that they did not do. And I know what kind of an influence that had on their minds. So I request all of you, please sensitize your teachers. In the school, the child gets all the solace he needs, or the child can even get decimated. His entire life can be changed in the school, not at home, because at home they spend lesser hours, there is lesser peer group, and there are lesser number of people to train the child for a better future. I'm not saying that parents are not responsible. Parents definitely are. In fact, parents have the responsibility to even keep a home which is safe, loving, and happy for the child, because any child that has stress is not only because of academics, but also if they come home toward a home with marital discord, where parents are fighting all the time, even that can cause stress. So I think in your PTMs, you should also advise parents. While we are advising you, kindly also advise parents. The teachers in the classroom have a great role to play, and that is what I request all of you to take this up in a very big way. We shall make this change, and thank you for this opportunity. But before leaving, I just want to say something about what's written here. It says, time's up. Really, time is up for us. And below that, there is something else written. It says, press delete to reset. Yes, we have to delete everything that is happening in the history of drug menace in our children's lives if we want to reset our futures. And it says something else. It says, press escape to exit. No. If we are going to press escape, we cannot exit this. We'll have to face this problem. Let's all do it together. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. That was indeed very interesting. And I would now request Shrikant, Joint Secretary, Anti-Narcotics Forum, HCSC, to please present a memento to Srimati A. Sreenivasa, IAS, Telangana Commissioner and Director of School Education. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we shall now step forward and witness the book launch. This book that will be unveiled today by the hands of our dignitaries present here on stage has been authored by our Joint Secretary, Anti-Narcotics Forum, Shrikant. Yes, with contributors from various departments, universities, their addiction centers, and subject matter experts nationally and internationally. I request all our dignitaries present here on stage to do the honors in unveiling the book, and I would also request our photographers to please capture this beautiful moment. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen, the unveiling of the book, which is going to change, transform lives, and empower lives. I now request our chief guest, Shri Burra Venkatesham, IAS Principal Secretary to the Government, to kindly please address the gathering.
Sabha Saraswati ki namaskaram. From all the English, we'll go back to some Tinglish. So చాలా ఇంగ్లీష్ విన్నాము, కొద్దిగా తెలుగులో హ్యాపీగా మాట్లాడుకుంటూ అవసరం ఉన్నప్పుడు ఇంగ్లీష్ మాట్లాడుతూ లెట్స్ అండర్స్టాండ్ ది ఇంపార్టెన్స్ ఆఫ్ ది మీటింగ్. సో వేదికపై ఉన్న పెద్దలు, గుడ్ ఫ్రెండ్ ఆఫ్ అస్ సందీప్ సాండేల గారు, మా సీనియర్ కొలీగ్స్ సందీప్ సాండేల గారు, అట్లాగే శ్రీనివాస్ రెడ్డి గారు, అట్లాగే మన తరుణ్ జోషి గారు, మై క్లోజ్ ఫ్రెండ్ మన విక్రమ్ సింగ్ మాన్ గారు, తర్వాత శ్రీకాంత్ గారు, మిగతా మా కమిషనర్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ దేవసేన గారు, మిగతా పెద్దలందరికీ కూడా నమస్కారాలు తెలియజేస్తూ, ఫస్ట్ టైం వీ వాంటెడ్ టు మీట్ ఆల్ ఆఫ్ యూ, ఎస్పెషల్లీ ప్రైవేట్ స్కూల్ మేనేజ్మెంట్స్ వాళ్ళందరినీ ఒకసారి పిలిచి మన రాష్ట్రంలో విద్యా వ్యవస్థ ఎలా ఉంది, ఏం జరుగుతుంది, మనందరం కలిసి భాగస్వామ్యంలో ఎలా చేయబోతున్నాం, how to improve the educational standards in the state, where the youngest state in the country is doing, how it is doing, where we are heading. These are the important things we need to understand. Because you are partners with us in education. At least 50% of the burden of educating children is taken by you. ఈ స్టేట్లో రాష్ట్రంలో ఉన్న విద్యార్థుల్లో 50% పైగా మీరు మాతో కలిసి పనిచేస్తున్నారు. సో you are a big partner with us. So ignoring you in anything, improving the standards of schooling, education or whatever is incomplete without talking to you. All these days, this dialogue was never happening. మీరు మీ పనిలో ఉన్నారు, ఏదో ఒక పర్మిషన్ కోసం వచ్చినప్పుడు ఒక అప్లికేషన్ పెట్టడం, అది ఎక్కడో ఒక పర్మిషన్ ఇచ్చేయడం, తర్వాతకి మీరెవరో మేమెవరు అన్నట్లు, లేదా స్కూల్ అడ్మిషన్ టైంలో ఆ స్కూల్ అడ్మిషన్ ఆ సీజన్లో మాత్రం ఫీజులు పెంచేశారు, ఇంకేదో అయిందని గొడవలు అవ్వటం, మళ్ళీ మేము ఏదో ప్రయత్నం చేయడం, అలాగా చిన్న చిన్న అన్కంఫర్టబుల్ క్వశ్చన్స్, డిఫికల్ట్ సిచ్యువేషన్లో తప్ప ఒక ప్లెజెంట్గా కూర్చొని మాట్లాడుకునే పరిస్థితి జరగల ఇన్ని సంవత్సరాల్లో. సో నౌ ఇట్ ఈస్ టైమ్ ఫర్ ఆల్ ఆఫ్ అస్ టు సిట్ టుగెదర్ అండ్ అండర్స్టాండ్ వేరియస్ ఇష్యూస్, ఇంక్లూడింగ్ దిస్ మోస్ట్ ఇంపార్టెంట్ ఇష్యూ విచ్ వీఆర్ టాకింగ్ టుడే. దిస్ ఈజ్ వెరీ వెరీ ఇంపార్టెంట్, నో డౌట్ అబౌట్ ఇట్. సో ఈ సందర్భంగా మనం కలిసాం కాబట్టి, సో మనం ఇంకొక 2-3 మీటింగ్స్ మనం త్వరలోనే వీ షుడ్ హ్యావ్. సో దానిలో భాగంగా మరి ఎడ్యుకేషన్ స్టాండర్డ్స్లో చూస్తే గవర్నమెంట్ స్కూల్స్ ఏమో బాగా పడిపోయినాయి, ప్రైవేట్ స్కూల్స్ ఏమో అద్భుతంగా రిజల్ట్స్ ఉన్నాయి కూడా, ఐ వుడ్ హ్యావ్ బీన్ హ్యాపీ. అలాంటి పరిస్థితి కూడా లేదు. ఎక్సెప్ట్ రంగారెడ్డి డిస్టిక్లో కొన్ని స్కూల్స్ తప్ప మిగతా చోట్ల గవర్నమెంట్ స్కూల్స్, ప్రైవేట్ స్కూల్స్ స్టాండర్డ్స్ మోర్ ఆర్ లెస్ సేమ్, రెండు సమానంగానే ఉన్నాయి. కొన్ని చోట్ల మ్యాథమెటిక్స్ బాగుంటే ప్రైవేట్ స్కూల్స్లో, లాంగ్వేజెస్ సే గవర్నమెంట్ స్కూల్లో బాగుంది. కొన్ని చోట్ల సైన్సెస్ గవర్నమెంట్ స్కూల్లో బాగుంటే ఇంకొన్ని చోట్ల లాంగ్వేజెస్ ప్రైవేట్ స్కూల్లో బాగుంది. అంతే తప్ప ప్రైవేట్ స్కూల్స్ ఆర్ ఫార్ అహెడ్ ఇన్ క్వాలిటీ, government schools are far lower in quality and yani, like government schools are doing very good in quality, private schools are not doing good and yani ledu. More or less similar set of standards are emerging, which is astonishing. So దీనికి అంత కారణం ఏంటంటే ది ఇన్పుట్స్, టీచర్స్కి మనం సరైన ఓరియంటేషన్ ఇవ్వకపోవడం, అట్లాగే మేనేజ్మెంట్ ఆఫ్ ది ఎంటైర్ స్కూల్ కాంటెక్స్ట్ అండ్ అక్కడ ఏం జరుగుతుంది. ఇప్పుడు ఏదైనా ఒక ఇష్యూ బాగా జరగాలంటే 3 things ఆర్ వెరీ ఇంపార్టెంట్. నెంబర్ 1 ఇస్ కాంటెక్స్ట్, నెంబర్ 2 ఇస్ కంటెంట్, థర్డ్ ఇస్ ఇంటెంట్. అంటే ఏం జరుగుతుంది, ఎక్కడ జరుగుతుంది, ఎవరు చేస్తున్నారు, ఏ ఉద్దేశంతో చేస్తున్నారు. సో ఇంటెంట్ ఈజ్ వెరీ ఇంపార్టెంట్. వాట్ కంటెంట్ యు ఆర్ పుట్టింగ్ ఇన్ టు ది పర్సన్ ఈజ్ ఇంపార్టెంట్, అండ్ వాట్ కాంటెక్స్ట్ యు ఆర్ బిల్డింగ్ అప్ ఈజ్ ఆల్సో ఇంపార్టెంట్. సో ది ఫ్యూచర్ ఆఫ్ అవర్ కంట్రీ, the safety of our country is being shaped in the classroom today. You ignore the classroom, you are heading towards a disaster. Whether it is safety of the country, whether it is the future of this country, is getting spoiled. Now it is the best time of our country that we are heading towards 100 years of Indian independence. 2047. Most of us sitting here, 99% of us would be backbenchers. Some of us would have left this world by that time. But even if some people are left, they'll be backbenchers. As a spectators will be there. So what are we going to do at that point of time? What kind of country we are going to build when we are celebrating our 100 years of Indian independence? That is very, very important. ఏం జరుగుతుంది అనేది అప్పుడు చాలా ముఖ్యం. అండ్ our economy is also doing good. మంచి ఎకానమీ ముందు బాగా పోతుంది. Police commissioners, there will be education secretaries, there will be doctors, there will be ministers, there will be people like you, social entrepreneurs లాగా schools నడిపిస్తూ ఉండొచ్చు, హాస్పిటల్ నడిపిస్తూ ఉండొచ్చు. there will be everybody there. సో వాళ్ళలో ఏం జరుగుతుంది అనేది చాలా చాలా ఇంపార్టెంట్. ఇన్ఫ్యాక్ట్ ఐ వాజ్ రీడింగ్ సమ్వేర్ దట్ వాట్ ఎవర్ ది అగ్రెసివ్ బిహేవియర్ యూ సీ, ఎస్పెషల్లీ ఇన్ టీనేజ్ టైం, అరౌండ్ సే 14 to 20 years మధ్యలో, 14 to 19 మధ్యలో జరిగే అగ్రెసివ్ బిహేవియర్ ఏదైతే ఉంటుందో, దట్ ఈస్ నాట్ ది రిజల్ట్ విచ్ హెస్ హ్యాపెండ్ దట్ టైం. ది సీడ్ వాజ్ బార్న్ వెన్ దే ఆర్ ఇన్ స్కూల్. అంటే 5వ క్లాస్ నుండి 8వ క్లాస్ మధ్యలో వాళ్ళ మధ్యలో జరిగే ఆలోచన విధానంలో జరిగే మార్పులు అప్పటికీ అది రిజల్ట్ లాగా కనిపిస్తుంది. నోబడీ విల్ లెర్న్ సడన్ బ్యాడ్ బిహేవియర్ వెన్ దే ఆర్ ఇన్ కాలేజ్. నో, ఇట్స్ నాట్ పాసిబుల్. ది సీడ్ వాజ్ బార్న్ మచ్ ఎర్లియర్ వెన్ దే వర్ ఇన్ ది స్కూల్. అప్పుడు బయటకు కనిపించకపోవచ్చు, బట్ ది మేనిఫెస్టేషన్ హ్యాపెన్స్ ఎట్ ఎ లేటర్ స్టేజ్. కాబట్టి classroom is very, very, very important. I'll tell you two things. With two countries which are doing great in terms of school education. One is Finland, the other one is South Korea. ఈ రెండు కంట్రీస్లో సౌత్ కొరియాలో అయితే నంబర్ 1 కనుక మీరు చూస్తే, ది హయ్యెస్ట్ రెస్పెక్ట్ ఈస్ గివెన్ టు ది ప్రైమరీ స్కూల్ టీచర్. హయ్యెస్ట్. ఈవెన్ శాలరీ కూడా ప్రైమరీ స్కూల్ టీచర్కి ఎక్కువ ఇస్తారు. నాట్ టు ది యూనివర్సిటీ ప్రొఫెసర్, not to the college lecturer, not to the school assistant who teaches higher classes. Because the youngest child, when he or she enters into the new context of school going, so appudu vaalla mind most impressionable minds. Appudu how you are writing the first alphabet into their head, first standards which you are weaving into their future. సో దట్ ఈస్ వేర్ ది మోస్ట్ క్రిటికల్ థింగ్స్ హ్యాపెన్. బట్ మనమేమో అది ఎవరైనా చెప్పేస్తారు అన్నట్లు పెట్టేస్తాం. ఏబీసీలు నేర్పించడమే కదా ఏముంది అని ఎవరంటే వాళ్ళని పెట్టేస్తాం. అక్కడ సీరియస్గా తీసుకోండి. అంత సీరియస్నెస్ పిహెచ్డి వచ్చినప్పుడు చేస్తూ ఉంటాం. అది విచ్ ఇస్ టోటలీ రాంగ్. అట్లాగే ఫిన్లాండ్ లాంటి కంట్రీలో అయితే ది బెస్ట్ స్టాండర్డ్స్లో అక్కడ అసలు ప్రైవేట్ స్కూల్ పెట్టేకే వీల్లేదు. మీకు ఇక్కడ మీలాంటి మీటింగ్ ఉండేకే లేదు. ఫిన్లాండ్లో దేర్ ఇస్ నో ప్రైవేట్ స్కూల్ అలౌడ్ as a rule, because education and health are supposed to be the levelers. ఈక్వలైజింగ్ చేసే ఈ రెండే. ఒక దేశం బాగుపడాలంటే పేదవాళ్ళు, ధనవంతులు, లేక అన్ని రకాల హ్యావ్ నాట్స్, ఆల్ దోస్ థింగ్స్ ఒక సమసమాజ సిచ్యువేషన్ అంటే ఈక్విటబుల్ ఇంక్లూజివ్ సొసైటీ ఎమర్జ్ కావాలంటే ఎడ్యుకేషన్, హెల్త్ టాప్ మోస్ట్ థింగ్స్. హెల్త్ ఏమో మైనస్ నుండి 0కి తెచ్చి పెడుతుంది ఒక లెవెల్కి, బట్ 0 నుండి పాజిటివ్ సైడ్ తీసుకెళ్ళాలంటే ఎడ్యుకేషనే. సో ఆ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ అనేది చాలా చాలా ఇంపార్టెంట్. సరే, కాబట్టి ఈ టైంలో మనంతా కూడా కూర్చొని మనం మాట్లాడుకుందాం. ఎస్పెషల్లీ ఈ డ్రగ్ అబ్యూస్ ఏదైతే ఉందో దీని మీద చాలా సీరియస్గా మనం వర్క్ చేయాలి. ఎందుకంటే వాళ్ళ జీవితాల్లో ప్రేమ ఎక్కువై కొన్ని సందర్భాల్లో, ప్రేమ తక్కువై కూడా కొన్ని సందర్భాల్లో పిల్లల్లో ఇలాంటి బిహేవియర్ వచ్చే అవకాశం ఉంది. ఎందుకంటే సపోజ్ ఒక మనకి దాహం వేస్తుంది, ఒక గ్లాస్ ఆఫ్ వాటర్, 2 గ్లాస్ ఆఫ్ వాటర్, 3 గ్లాస్ ఆఫ్ వాటర్, దట్ ఈస్ సఫిషియంట్. బట్ ఇఫ్ యూ గివ్ ఓన్లీ 2 spoons of water, that is lack of water, that is also a problem. That is like lack of love. లేదా ఒక బిందె తీసుకొచ్చి నోట్లో పోసినాం అనుకోండి, మోర్ లవ్, దట్ ఈజ్ ఆల్సో ఏ ప్రాబ్లం. ఇప్పుడు న్యూక్లియర్ ఫ్యామిలీస్ వచ్చి ఎవరిని గమనించే పరిస్థితి లేదు. కాబట్టి ఐదర్ ల్యాక్ ఆఫ్ లవ్ ఈజ్ హ్యాపెనింగ్ బికాస్ ఎవ్రీబడి ఈజ్ బిజీ, ఆర్ టూ మచ్ ఆఫ్ లవ్ ఈజ్ హ్యాపెనింగ్ బికాస్ యూ హ్యావ్ ఓన్లీ 1 child or 2 children to టు టేక్ కేర్. మనం వీళ్ళ కోసం కాకుండా ఎవరి కోసం చేస్తున్నామండి, పిల్లలకి ఇది తినిపోకపోతే మనం ఏం చేస్తామని వాళ్ళకి డబ్బు ఇచ్చేయటము, వాళ్ళు కొంచెం అరిచినా ఖర్చినా గొడవ పెట్టినా వాటిని మనం ఎక్స్క్యూజ్ చేస్తున్నాం. పెద్దల పట్ల గౌరవం చూపించకపోయినా, లేదా పార్టీ అని లేట్గా వచ్చినా, ఈవినింగ్స్ ఎప్పుడు వచ్చినా మనం పట్టించుకోవట్లేదు. ఏమంటే ఏమవుతారో పిల్లలు, ఏం తిడితే ఏమనుకుంటారో, ఏమన్నా మళ్ళీ గొడవ చేస్తారో, రాగానే వాళ్ళకి దే అండర్స్టూడ్ యువర్ ప్రిడికామెంట్, బాగా అర్థం చేసుకున్నారు. రాగానే అరిచేస్తారు, లేదా ఏదో పగలు కొట్టేస్తారు, ఎందుకు వచ్చిన గొడవ వదిలేస్తే పోయిందని. ఆ రకంగా యు ఆర్ వల్నరబుల్ నౌ. నాట్ ది చైల్డ్ ఈజ్ నాట్ వల్నరబుల్ టుడే, నౌ ది పేరెంట్స్ ఆర్ వల్నరబుల్ టుడే. ఇంతకుముందు మన చిన్నతనంలో ఇట్ వాజ్ ది పేరెంట్ కంట్రోల్డ్ హౌస్ హోల్డ్. వాళ్ళు ఏమిస్తే తీసుకోవాలా, ఏం పెడితే తినాలా, ఏం చెప్తే వినాలా. ఇప్పుడు చైల్డ్ కంట్రోల్డ్ హౌస్. వాళ్ళు ఏం చెప్తే దీన్ని వండాలా, ఏం టీవీ పెట్టమంటే అదే చూడాలా, ఎక్కడికి పోదామంటే అక్కడికి వెళ్ళాలా. సో చైల్డ్ సెంట్రిక్ హౌస్ అవ్వటం వల్ల కొన్ని లాభాలు ఉన్నాయి, కొన్ని నష్టాలు కూడా ఉన్నాయి. బికాస్ దట్ ఏజ్ దే కాంట్ అండర్స్టాండ్ లైఫ్. సో దాన్ని స్కూల్ సిస్టంలో వాళ్ళ పేరెంట్స్ ఏమనుకుంటారు, స్కూల్ వాళ్ళు చూస్తారంటారు. మనం అనుకుంటాం పేరెంట్స్ చూడాలని మీరు అనుకుంటారు. సో దిస్ కాన్స్టెంట్ కన్ఫ్యూజన్ బిట్వీన్ ది పేరెంట్ అండ్ ది స్కూల్. మన పీటీఎం పేరెంట్ టీచర్స్ మీటింగ్ జరుగుతూ ఉంటాయి కదా రెగ్యులర్గా. ఐ విల్ నాట్ నేమ్ వన్ ఆఫ్ అవర్ బ్యాచ్మేట్స్, పోలీస్ ఆఫీసర్కి అయితే అర్థమై ఉంటుంది. సో వాళ్ళ హస్బెండ్ ఈజ్ మై బ్యాచ్మేట్ ఇన్ ఐఎస్, వైఫ్ ఈజ్ ఆల్సో ఇన్ ఐపీఎస్. సో అంతకుముందు ఈ పేరెంట్ టీచర్స్ మీటింగ్ అనేది ఎంత ఇంపార్టెంట్ అనేది నాకు అర్థమైందన్నమాట దాన్ని బట్టి. సో అంతకుముందు ఏంటంటే ఆల్ ది థింగ్స్ అబౌట్ ది చైల్డ్ యూస్ టు బి డిసైడెడ్ బై ది మదర్ ఎర్లియర్. అంతకుముందు ఏదైనా వాళ్ళ ఇంట్లో మదర్ యూస్ టు డిసైడ్. తర్వాత కొద్ది రోజుల తర్వాత దెర్ వాజ్ ఎ చేంజ్. ఫాదర్ వాజ్ నౌ కంట్రోలింగ్ ఎవ్రీథింగ్ అబౌట్ ది చైల్డ్. I said, what has happened in your house which has made this difference? So the father was saying, it is because of attending parent-teacher meeting. Then PTM में ऐसा बोला है, PTM में ऐसा हुआ है, PTM में ऐसा बोला गया है. So everything they were saying PTM. What is this PTM means? He was saying, it is because of parent-teachers meeting I attend regularly. So what is happening with the child, I know better. So I should decide what should happen with my kid. So that is the level at which parent-teachers meeting are taken seriously, including, you have seen, Barack Obama also used to attend parent-teacher meeting, even as president of the country. So, but akkada meer em maatladutunnaru? Are you talking about these kind of issues also? Or Sandeep Sadile sir cheppinatla only are you talking about grades or fees or dress behavior etiquette ive maatladutunnara leda inkedana maatladutunnara? Akkada overall well-being is important. Well-being is the most important thing. దాని మీద మనం కృషి చేయాలి. సో వీ వాంట్ అవర్ చిల్డ్రన్ టు బి సక్సెస్ఫుల్ ఆర్ వీ వాంట్ అవర్ చిల్డ్రన్ టు బి హ్యాపీ. అందరికి కూడా కావాల్సింది ఏంటి? అందరేమో చెప్పేది హ్యాపీగా ఉండాలని చెప్తాము, బట్ వీ డ్రైవ్ దెమ్ టువర్డ్స్ సక్సెస్. వీ థింక్ సక్సెస్ ఈజ్ ఈక్వలెంట్ టు హ్యాపీనెస్. Once you are successful, automatically they are happy anukuntaru. No. Only sometimes happiness and success are synonymous. Sometimes they are totally opposite. Situation batti. So most successful people are one of the most miserable people also. I have seen myself number of people. But they can't come out and openly say that I am unhappy. Because it's a paradox. Because all these years they have worked for it. Now after reaching the topmost place, why did I did all this thing in my life? They can't say. So atlanti situation, let us look for happiness of the child. Kabatti happiness lo anni components undala. So దానికి తగ్గట్టుగా పిల్లల్ని తయారు చేసే మన దగ్గర రావాలి. సో ఈ డ్రగ్స్, యాంటీ డ్రగ్స్ ఏదైతే మనం కమిటీస్ వేయాలనుకున్నాం దానికి మంచి పేరు మనం ఆలోచించి పెట్టుకుందాం. బికాజ్ యాంటీ డ్రగ్స్ అంటే డ్రగ్ అనేది ఎందుకు మైండ్లో వచ్చేట్లు కాకుండా ఇంకేదో ఆ రిజల్ట్ మాత్రం అదే, పేరు మాత్రం వేరే విధంగా పెట్టి డెఫినెట్గా మనం ఒక యాంటీ డ్రగ్స్ కమిటీ తప్పనిసరిగా పెట్టాలి, పాజిటివ్ పేరు. అవి ఎవరైనా చేయకపోయినా, ఎవరికైనా ఇంట్రెస్ట్ చూపించకపోయినా డెఫినెట్గా మీ రెన్యువల్స్లో కానీ మీ రికగ్నిషన్లో కానీ డెఫినెట్గా మే విల్ టేక్ యాక్షన్ ఇఫ్ యు ఆర్ నాట్ టేకింగ్ ఇట్ సీరియస్లీ. హైదరాబాద్ షుడ్ బికమ్ కంప్లీట్లీ డ్రగ్ ఫ్రీ సొసైటీ, నో డౌట్ అబౌట్ ఇట్. డ్రగ్ ఫ్రీ సిటీ కావాల్సిందే. తెలంగాణ షుడ్ బికమ్ డ్రగ్ ఫ్రీ స్టేట్. కాబట్టి తెలంగాణ షుడ్ స్టాండ్ ఫర్ 3 things. ఐ ఆల్వేస్ విష్, బికాస్ వీఆర్ ది యంగెస్ట్ కిడ్ ఆన్ ది బ్లాక్. అందరికంటే మొత్తం దేశంలో అందరికంటే యంగ్ స్టేట్ మనమే కాబట్టి, సో దాంట్లో నెంబర్ 1 తెలంగాణ ఈజ్ ఫర్ టెక్నాలజీ, బికాస్ వీఆర్ నోన్ ఫర్ లాట్స్ ఆఫ్ టెక్నాలజీ. తెలంగాణ ఈజ్ ఫర్ ట్రెడిషన్స్, చక్కటి ట్రెడిషన్స్ మనం పాటించే రాష్ట్రంగా ఉండాలి. దెన్ తెలంగాణ ఈజ్ ఫర్ టాలెంట్ ఆల్సో. సో ఈ మూడుని మనం పాటిస్తే తెలంగాణ విల్ బి ఇన్ టాప్. టు గో టు టాప్ వీ నీడ్ టు హ్యావ్ టెక్నాలజీ, వీ నీడ్ టు హ్యావ్ ట్రెడిషన్స్, బికాస్ మన విలువలు మనం మర్చిపోకూడదు కదా. అండ్ తెలంగాణ ఆల్సో షుడ్ ఎంకరేజ్ టాలెంట్ సో దట్ విల్ రీచ్ టు ది టాప్ ఇన్ ది కంట్రీ, రైట్? సో మన ఈ వీటిని చూడడం కోసం డెఫినెట్గా డ్రగ్ ఈజ్ నాట్ ఎ పాజిటివ్ ఫ్యాక్టర్, ఇట్స్ ఎ నెగిటివ్ ఫ్యాక్టర్. కాబట్టి మైనస్ నుండి మనం జీరోకి దీన్ని తీసుకురావడం కోసం తప్పనిసరిగా మనం కృషి చేస్తాం. దాని మీద మళ్ళీ మనం ఇంతకు చెప్పినట్లు ఒక కమిటీస్ వేసి ఆ కమిటీలో మళ్ళీ వీళ్ళందరికీ ట్రైనింగ్ ఇద్దాం. మళ్ళీ ఎవరైతే మీరు 2 మెంబర్స్కి పెడతారో, ఎవరైనా మెంబర్ పెట్టాలంతా సర్క్యులర్ ఇస్తాం. సర్క్యులర్ ఇచ్చిన తర్వాత దాన్ని మీరు నామినేట్ చేసిన తర్వాత వాళ్ళకి హౌ టు ఐడెంటిఫై ది సబ్స్టాన్సెస్, హౌ టు ఐడెంటిఫై ది సిమ్టమ్స్ ఆఫ్ ది చిల్డ్రన్, హౌ టు హ్యావ్ మోర్ డిస్కషన్ విత్ ది పేరెంట్స్ ఇన్ పీటీఎమ్స్ ఎట్సెట్రా అన్నీ కూడా ఒక కాంప్రహెన్సివ్గా మీకు ట్రైనింగ్ ఇవ్వడం జరుగుతుంది. అదొకటి. తర్వాత పోలీస్ సైడ్ నుండి ఇంకా కొన్ని ఇష్యూస్ కూడా ఉన్నాయి ఇంపార్టెంట్. ఒకటి ట్రాఫిక్ అవేర్నెస్. సో ట్రాఫిక్ అవేర్నెస్ అనే సిటీస్ అన్నెసర్లీ వేర్ ట్రాఫిక్ కుడ్ బి అవాయిడెడ్ వీఆర్ క్రియేటింగ్ ట్రాఫిక్. ఎందుకంటే మరి జామ్ ఉందని అందరికీ జామ్ అంటే ఇష్టమనేమో ట్రాఫిక్ జామ్. సో యాజ్ ఇఫ్ జామ్ తినే జామ్ లాగా వీఆర్ క్రియేటింగ్ జామ్స్ వేర్ ఇట్ ఈస్ నాట్ రిక్వైర్డ్. కొన్ని చోట్ల రోడ్ బాగానే ఉంటుంది కానీ ట్రాఫిక్ జామ్ అవుతుంది. ఎందుకంటే ఇర్రెస్పాన్సిబుల్ బిహేవియర్ ఆర్ ప్రాపర్గా అర్థం చేసుకోకపోవడం వల్ల అవుతూ ఉంటుంది. సో చిల్డ్రన్కి ఎస్పెషల్లీ హయ్యర్ క్లాసెస్ వాళ్ళకి, తర్వాత కాలేజ్ పిల్లలు కూడా మనం కొంచెం చెప్పి వీఆర్ గోయింగ్ టు హ్యావ్ దేర్ అప్రిషియేషన్ ఆఫ్ దీస్ ఇష్యూస్ అది చేయబోతున్నాం. దాన్ని కూడా వీ లైక్ టు డిస్కస్ విత్ దెమ్. తర్వాత వేరియస్ అదర్ ఇష్యూస్ మీద ఒక అవేర్నెస్ రెగ్యులర్గా పోలీస్ ఆఫీసర్స్, తర్వాత హెల్త్ అఫీషియల్స్ వచ్చి మనం కొన్ని క్లబ్స్ పెట్టుకొని ఇలాంటి ఇష్యూస్ మీద మనం మాట్లాడాలి. ఇంకొకటి గర్ల్ చైల్డ్ సేఫ్టీ, దట్ ఈజ్ ఆల్సో ఇంపార్టెంట్. దిస్ ఈజ్ ది ఏజ్, అడలసెంట్ ఏజ్లో కొన్ని ప్రైవేట్ స్కూల్లో జరిగింది, కొన్ని గవర్నమెంట్ స్కూల్లో కూడా జరుగుతున్నాయి. ఈ గర్ల్స్ సేఫ్టీ ఈజ్ వెరీ ఇంపార్టెంట్. వాట్ ఈస్ ఫ్రెండ్లీ టచ్, వాట్ ఈస్ అన్నెసరీ టచ్, వాట్ ఈస్ గుడ్ వర్డ్, వాట్ ఈస్ బ్యాడ్ వర్డ్, ఇవన్నీ కూడా కొంత అవేర్నెస్ మనం వాళ్ళకి ఇవ్వాలి. తెలియని కూడా ఇళ్లలో ఇబ్బంది అవుతూ ఉంటుంది, ఫ్యామిలీస్లో కూడా అవుతుంది, క్లోజ్ రిలేటివ్స్లో అవుతుంది, టీచర్స్ వల్ల అవుతుంది, అక్కడ ఉండే అటెండెన్స్ వల్ల అవుతుంది. సో మెనీ ఇష్యూస్. ఇవన్నీ కూడా వాళ్ళు బయటికి చెప్పుకోలేక ట్రామా ఫీల్ అయిపోయి లైఫ్ లాంగ్ సఫర్ అయిపోయిన అమ్మాయిలు ఉన్నారు, సఫర్ అయిపోయిన అబ్బాయిలు కూడా ఉన్నారు. సో అందువల్ల వీటన్నిటి మీద దిస్ ఎర్లీ ఏజ్లో వితౌట్ ఓవర్ బర్డెనింగ్ దెమ్, బట్ వన్స్ వీ మిస్ దిస్ టైమ్ వీ విల్ నెవర్ గెట్ దట్ టైమ్. సో టైమ్ ఈజ్ క్రిటికల్, బట్ ఎట్ ది సేమ్ టైమ్ ఇట్ షుడ్ నాట్ బి టూ మచ్. సో ఆ రైట్ మిక్స్ ఏంటనేది మనం చూసుకొని ఈ 3-4 ఇష్యూస్. ఒకటి సోషల్ బిహేవియర్ వన్స్ యు ఆర్ ఆన్ ది స్ట్రీట్, హౌ టు బిహేవ్ యాజ్ ఏ సోషల్ రెస్పాన్సిబుల్ పర్సన్, హౌ నాట్ టు గివ్ ఇన్కన్వీనియన్స్ టు అదర్స్, అది మనం నేర్పాలి పిల్లలకి. దెన్ గర్ల్ చైల్డ్ సేఫ్టీ అదొకటి. తర్వాత ఈ డ్రగ్ అబ్యూస్, ఈ 3 ఇష్యూస్ మీద మనం రెగ్యులర్గా మాట్లాడే విధంగా, ప్లస్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ స్టాండర్డ్స్ అవంతా మనం సపరేట్గా మనం కూర్చుందాం. బట్ రెగ్యులర్గా ప్రైవేట్ స్కూల్స్ మేనేజ్మెంట్స్, గవర్నమెంట్ సైడ్ నుండి రెగ్యులర్గా వీటి మీద మనం మాట్లాడబోతున్నాం. మే నాట్ బి every month, but at least every quarter we'll meet, discuss, and what is happening. Let us all take this Telangana state to the topmost educated and cultured state in the country. So with that direction and interest, honestly thank our good friend Sreenivasa Reddy Garu, who has done so much effort in bringing all of you together, and what we were wishing, he has done it. And మిమ్మల్ని అందరినీ ఒక దగ్గరికి చేర్చడం చాలా సంతోషం. వి థ్యాంక్ యూ బికాస్ ఒకసారి అంటారు కదా, ఒక మాట చెప్తాను, యద్భావం తద్భవతి అని. ఏదైతే మనం ఆలోచిస్తామో అది జరుగుతుంది. మేము పిలుద్దాం అనుకున్నాము, ఆయనకి టెలిపతికి ఆయనకి వెళ్ళిపోయి ఆయన పిలిచారు. ఏదైనా ఫలితం అయితే అదే కదా. సో యు థింక్ అబౌట్ ఇట్ విల్ హ్యాపెన్. ఎవరి ద్వారా అవుతుందో మనకు తెలియదు. కోరడంలో మాత్రం కొరత ఉండకూడదు. కోరడంలో కొరత అనేది అన్నిటికంటే పెద్ద సమస్య, మనకు ఉండే సమస్య అది. లెట్స్ ఆల్ విష్ that Telangana reaches the top in all spheres, especially in education. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your thoughtful words here today with us. I now request Shri K. Sreenivasa Reddy, IPS, Honorable Chairman, HCSC and Commissioner of Police, Hyderabad City, along with Shri Shrikant, Joint Secretary, Anti-Narcotics Forum, HCSC, to please present a memento. Yes, to our chief guest, Shri Burra Venkatesham, IAS. Yes, Principal Secretary to the government. Thank you so much, sir, for taking time out to be present here with us. And we also have with us in the audience here today, President Credai, Rajshekar Reddy Garu. I request you to please step forward. And CII President Shri Shekhar Reddy, I request you to please step forward onto the stage. I request our Honorable Chairman, HCSC, Shri K. Sreenivasa Reddy, IPS, to please, felicitate our guests, along with Shrikant, Joint Secretary, Anti-Narcotics Forum, HCSC. Thank you so much, dignitaries. Yes, I request Shri Mansur to please step forward on the stage, and I request Shri K. Sreenivasa Reddy to please present a memento. I now request Shri Bharini Kumar, a role advisor, HCSC, to please introduce NAD Rep.
Distinguished guests on the dais and off the dais, very good afternoon to all of you. I know I'm just sometimes put in this very awkward situation to stand before you and lunch. So I'll try, I promise you that I'll just wrap it up in less than 5 minutes. Okay? All right, perfect. You know how much of happy faces out there. You know, at the same time, when we talk about this, is that dopamine? Dopamine, right? Dopamine is the hormone that creates that happiness in everybody's faces, right? The mental happiness. So I'm sure when I saw some faces, right, in the beginning of the meeting, I'm not sure that dopamine levels were very high. They were just low because calling you on a Sunday, away from the family, whatnot. But I think having heard all these experts speak about the very important, aspect of our society, which is impacting our society, I see a lot of dopamine levels going up right now. So that's definitely a natural high of, the happiness, having heard from all these people and your willingness to be able to help, at this point in time. Well, I've been tasked with this assignment. I'm sure most of you have this, right? And you're wondering, what is this all about? And believe me, I also just came to know about this morning. It is this kind of a reality check, everyone, reality check. And if you look at, like say your age, I mean, very positively looking at, everybody's age is going to be at least 90, right? Plus, I'm not saying maximum 90, 90 plus. So you start plotting yourself as to where you are, right? There are two, boxes on the left side of the chart, which shares 90-year human life in years and a 90-year human life in months. You can split it up even to weeks. So this, if you start plotting as to where you are at this point in time, grey it out, all the circles or the, the squares, you will know how many years, you have passed, right? What all you have achieved, accomplished during this particular time, right? All that can be also plotted. But one thing is very sure, you don't have any control over this, areas that are grayed out. Do you all agree? You have no control. It is just about, say, it becomes history for you to understand, appreciate, and, relive your life in terms of what you have accomplished. But what is going to be left, as far as I'm concerned, I'm just seeing only about less than 30%, right? In my, I started plotting. If I'm lucky and if I'm healthy, right, what is that I can do the remaining part of my life, right? There's going to be some IPL matches I can only see about 32, 33 IPL matches the rest of my life. So that is the reality. And whatever we have done in the past is different, but whatever we're going to do as we move forward, we have control over the time that is not grayed out. So the humble request here, please, is a very simple exercise, but go back and reflect upon yourself and do this exercise. I'm sure a lot of very strong message would come out on this day of a soft launch of this program. Believe me, I don't know, I read a statistics wherein it says average time, right, average percentage a student spends in a school from the kindergarten all the way to 12th grade. Just guess how much percentage it could be. Any guesses? The statistics say about 10.5% to 11% is the average time of a student, right, from kindergarten all the way to 12th grade. But imagine that 10.5% of the time that he or she is in the school, the kind of impact that teachers can create, right, of the entire learning a student has. That's a very critical phase of learning, right? Whether it's educational or even behavioral, anything for that matter. I think that could be much more than 30-40%. So within that 10.5% span of time that you have the children with you, you can create a huge impact on the students. That's one of the reasons why this whole program has been designed, structured, that it should be a very collaborative kind of a program, initiative, intervention, rather than just only coming from top down or from law enforcement alone. The parents have an equal role, the teachers have a very, very important role, of course the school management for that matter, and the citizens and the police enforcement and the NGOs like Hyderabad City Security Council. So we certainly need your commitment at this point in time for this program, which is called NAD-REP. That is the overall the objective of the program today. So narcotics and addictions, which talks about all the different types of addictions that we talked about. And just a very lighter note, I saw a movie wherein the addiction was happening by way of say playing some music. I don't know how many of you watched it, but I'm not sure how far it is true as well. But there are many forms of say substances that are being used now to be able to create a very addictive society. Next slide, please. So the narcotics and other addictions, desensitization, which is primarily refers to the process by which the brain becomes less responsive to the effects of narcotics over time. I think it's a different phase, but this may not require a lot of intervention, but it's about creating that awareness and doing anything that is possible to be able to desensitize those who have been affected, impacted by this. The next one, please. The next R stands for reprocessing. It's all about like counseling and doing all interventions to be able to create that psychological impact on the people who are victimized, right, to be able to recover, rehabilitation. The next one, please. Empowerment. So empowering those who should be able to take decisions. For example, the ADC that was presented by Mr. our Commissioner of Police and Chairman of HCHC, and the forums that they're going to be talking about. I think Educational Commissioner also mentioned about it. through all these different levels of governance, we are going to work together collaboratively to make sure that this program is going to be empowering those that who need at that stage to be able to recover and help the other victims that they see, right, to come out of it, or from prevention. Next one is prevention. So NADREP is an acronym for all these different sub-words, but all have a lot of meaning. Prevention is all by awareness. Make sure that we prevent our children, right, from being addicts. I think many speakers here have highlighted the importance of the prevention of drug abuse. I'm sure each and every one of us have that responsibility to be able to take it forward. And can I just get your commitment by everybody raising their hands? If somebody is not raising their hands, I mean, I'm not even just asked for what. Somebody is not raising their hands. I think there are CCTV cameras, and I'm sure absolutely will capture that later. So we are committed to this program, and we are going to just make our children, right, away from all kind of abuse, and make sure that we build an India which is drug-free, Hyderabad, Telangana, and India drug-free. Can we just all raise the hands, please? Yeah. We get your commitment 100%, and you stay committed already. Thank you very much. Wonderful day.
Thank you so much, sir. That was indeed insightful. I now request Shri Shrikant, Joint Secretary, Anti-Narcotics Forum, HCSC, to please present a memento to Shri Bharani. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, kindly please bear with us. We have a very interesting, emotional play, theatre play for all of you. It's just a matter of 15 minutes, after which we can all proceed for lunch. So kindly please bear with us for 15 minutes. We have put across a very beautiful, emotional play, a theatre play for all of you. So please, it's a matter of 15 minutes, just bear with us. I request the dignitaries to kindly please, join the front row in the audience to enjoy the theatre play.
From this menace. So every school should have. The nitty-gritties of that will be worked out in consultation with you. Right now we were thinking each school can have 2 teachers. One of them could be even non-teaching staff, but one should be a teacher, certainly. And they need not be permanent. I mean, every 6 months or so you can change them, no issues. And these 2, people who act as drug committees shall carry out these things. They should own the students. The responsibility and accountability for their welfare should be owned up. You should look for the various sources of drugs that are coming inside the school or even outside the school, in the proximity. Often what we noticed is the schools are not concerned about what is happening just outside their campus. They may be concerned only if something inside the campus happens. So if inside the campus these drugs are not still penetrated into, if you think there's nothing wrong and there is no danger is present, friends, we are wrong. Just outside the campus,